Welcome to another episode of Out and About. I'm Brad, and I'm with Al Carassa, who's going to tell us all about his recumbent tricycle that he rides around the village here. So take a walk with us as we look around. He tells us a little bit about this machine. Al, tell us what you have.
Well, it's called a recumbent, technically trike, because it has 3 wheels, not 2. And these are fairly expensive. They usually cost at least 2 or 3 times higher than a normal bicycle. So they're too expensive for me to buy. So I built my own from kits. And I found a place in Utah that sells exclusively kits for these things. And that was a godsend, because they send you all the major parts, the cruciform frame already welded, and some pre-assembled things like the brakes, and of course the wheels and the seat frame. And then the rest of the bike, the rest of the parts are pretty much from any local bicycle shop has them. I mean, it's just like a bicycle with training wheels, you know. That's it.
Right, so the mechanics are very similar to a bicycle. You have your chain, you have all of your gears and such,
it's all
and your
the
brakes.
same. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I see you have disc brakes on the front, and how are they controlled here?
Well, it has there's a handle here, and this is what controls it right there, and that controls both sides. Now you can have 2 of them control each wheel separately. I don't like those because you have to coordinate your hands perfectly, or you're gonna get. Yeah.
Oh,
I always build them with one control both sides, and then of course we have this very important
Well,
part.
you need a dinger bell,
because
of course.
because they're so silent, I tend to sneak up on pedestrians. Just get the heck out of them. So I ring the bell. Hey guys, I'm coming.
Of course, being low to the ground, you have the orange flags that vehicles can see.
True.
You
I'm really out of the normal sight line. Well, that's the reason for this.
Yep.
Otherwise people wouldn't see me. I also have flashing lights here when it's dusk or a real cloudy day. I turn them on so that I'm seen. And being that I'm so low to the ground, I'm only 6 inches off the pavement, so there's not very far to fall, unlike a bicycle.
So a bicycle, of course, you have handlebars that you're going to steer your front wheel
Yeah,
with. Here you have still handlebars, but it steers both. I see you have a linkage.
Well, the steering is direct. I mean, there's no linkage of any kind. It's just perfectly direct. So it takes a little muscle to do that. So it gives you a full body workout. Not only your legs, but your upper body and your shoulders and your arms are working as well. So
these are great for
keeps me
people who
moving.
struggle with balance.
Pardon?
It's great for people who struggle with balance, perhaps. They still get their exercise.
Well, I have had several people in the village here who are bicycle riders who have come out and rode some of my machines, and they expressed the same comment that it's a lot easier to. There's no balance issues with it.
Right.
Yeah,
You can come to a stop and just stay in the same
Exactly.
position. You don't put your feet down.
Yeah.
So in terms of comfort, I mean, I see you're kind of laid back a little bit when you're on here.
Well,
Does that lend itself to?
It's let's face it, it's very comfortable.
You're practically asleep at this point,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you're practically lying down. And one of the machines that I built when my wife was still with us, and she used to ride with me, I built one for her, but she had a prerequisite. She said, "Hey, you gonna build one for me? Huh. I want a lazy boy on wheels." so her comment kind of stuck in my mind. It's like, hey, these things really are as comfortable as a lazy boy.
A lazy boy, right?
So it sure beats a bicycle.
Right, I imagine it would.
Yeah.
Yet you still get a lot of the benefits of the movement and using your legs and things like that.
Yes.
Great.
So, I don't know what else I can tell you about it. I mean, it's a fairly simple machine. It's not a big deal. It takes a little time to build one from a kit, but time, my God.
But getting used to it, the first time you got on one of these, how was it to acclimate yourself to it?
Well, I used to ride a 2-wheel bicycle prior to this. So right off the bat, I had a tendency to lean into the corners.
Oh, right.
I said, "Hey, Al, stop that. You don't have to do this."
Because it will not lean, I see.
No,
very rigid frame on there.
Yeah.
What was the term you used for this frame?
Was that
A
cruciform?
Cruciform, because it's a cross, right?
Shape.
I
Yeah.
see.
Almost all of the ones that I've seen are that basic geometric shape.
So it's still chain driven. I see it has one very long chain that wraps. I see from your crank set here.
Yeah, well, you can see it's it's protected,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps my pants legs out of the chain too.
I see you have a single sprocket down here.
No, this is just an idler.
Just an idler. Okay.
That's all it does. It has
Mhm.
there's no ratio. It's just something that the chain passes through.
Right.
And the transmission on this particular one I built is all contained inside the hub. So it's a frictional transmission. So that it has like kind of difficult
clutches.
to explain technically, but it has 6 or 8 balls inside that run around, and you change the angle of those balls to relate the incoming disc versus the outgoing disc.
Okay.
And it's infinite. So in other words, the control is right here, the lower part of the handlebar. That's the control, and the cable goes down there. So the transmission doesn't have the normal, first gear, second gear, third gear, and so on. It's infinite. It's wherever you feel you want to be, you set it, and your legs will tell you what your legs want
Right.
at any particular moment. So you're constantly playing with this thing as you ride.
Right.
Basically.
So is it almost like balls within a clutch system that make that happen, or?
Actually, they're wedges, and you change the position of those balls on the wedge, so that the diameter, overall diameter, changes from bigger to smaller.
Oh, interesting.
Up along the surface of each wedge.
Okay.
You kind of have to see the inside
Right.
to appreciate how it works. It's not very complicated, and it's all completely sealed. So there's no servicing involved.
So in terms of riding this, as I look at how low it is and where the tires are, when you're riding on wet pavement, do you get a lot of water spraying up on you from your tires or anything?
You hit it right on the nose.
Okay.
Rain doesn't bother me. I've ridden in the rain, no big deal. The problem is the puddles, because that's dirty water.
So I imagine that you would get quite a bit of splash and,
Yeah.
and such up from that.
And some of these have, you can put fenders on them.
Right.
But fender is just additional weight, and you don't need it. You want to keep it as lightweight as possible.
I imagine
for
so.
obvious reasons. Yeah.
So the things like the crank set, is this kind of from a typical bicycle you would find?
Yeah, this is just a normal.
Okay.
This is just a normal.
Nothing
crank set,
special
like,
about that.
Like any bicycle, there's nothing different here. I just put these straps on there to keep my feet more planted. I
Well,
guess.
yeah, you definitely don't want your
Keep them
foot
from slipping
coming off and
Yeah.
catch it on the ground as you go
Yeah,
by.
that can happen. So
Well, would you mind getting on and kind of showing us how you start out, and we'll kind of watch you
Sure.
ride around a little bit?
sure. You put your foot in at an angle, and then you twist it to lock it in place.
I see.
And once it's locked, it won't move.
You're not coming off.
So yeah,
Okay.
you're not coming off. So that works well. And then that's it. So I'll just ride out there, come back, and
Sounds
that
great.
do it. All
Take
right.
it away, Al.
How's that?
You make it look effortless, so easy to control.
Well, it is. It is. It really is. And it's actually physically less demanding than riding a bicycle.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I think it is.
Okay.
You're welcome to try it.
Oh, I'd be happy to try it, sure.
All right. Let's see. Let's see how tall you are.
I'm a little bit taller than you. Just
Not
a
much.
touch.
I
not
don't
much.
think. I don't think I'm that. Okay, you put your
Yep,
feet
we're gonna
here.
stand right here in the middle, okay?
Right. Okay. And then just go down. You can hold on to tires to sit.
Hold on to tires, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Sit as
All
far
right.
back as you can. All right. And then
I'm just gonna kind of
Give
put
you a
that,
hand here.
go at an angle,
angle
and then lock it.
in.
Oops, didn't
Try it
didn't
again.
catch it. Yeah, I have shorter legs than you, I think.
Okay.
You do the same here. Angle,
The same here.
lock, okay.
Okay. Now the brake, you have to lift this up.
Lift that,
Okay.
okay.
And by the way, there is a reverse gear. You know what it is?
Is there a reverse gear?
Yeah, here. This is how it works.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You put your hand on the tire. Hey, that's the reverse gear.
That's the reverse. All right, let's see what kind of trouble we can do here.
Don't forget to twist the lower part of the handle on your left.
Does it
For
get
your
easier
gearing.
which way? All right, well, I'm moving now. That's a good sign.
Already an expert.
Look at that. That's really easy to get accustomed to. I like that.
Hey.
All right, we're going to have Cindy get...
What? What do you think?
I love it. This